Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and not too long ago I was talking about how MAC was expanding the Studio Fix family. I did a whole swatch and demo with the new Studio Fix 24-hour concealers. Still loving those, definitely wearing that today by the way. Now I want to tell you about some new face palettes from MAC. These are the Studio Fix Sculpt and Shape Contour Palettes. I'm just gonna call them the Studio Fix Contour Palettes because when makeup products have really long names, I can never remember them. So, contour palettes for MAC. There are two versions of this palette, one that is lighter and one that is deeper. I'm wearing the lighter palette on my face today and I did use all 6 shades, so I will do a little demo showing you all these shades in action a little bit later on the video. First, I just want to give you product info. I'm also going to do swatches of both palettes. I'll do both finger and brush swatches just like I do for my eyeshadow palette videos. That way you can see how these perform with a brush as well. This is what the palette looks like. Not too big, not too small. There's this cool like gradient effect text on the front, which I think that this packaging is pretty cool. It's very MAC. It's kind of like chic, too cool for school, but it's not just like a plain black palette. So I like the outer packaging of this. This is a typical MAC palette in that it is a hard plastic. We do have a locking clasp closure here, and when you open it up you see there is a really nice size mirror in here. This is the kind of palette where the mirror will stay standing up wherever you place it, which I really like for travel because then I can just set my little palette up and do my makeup without having to hold the palette. It will also lay perfectly flat too. I know this is important if you're a working makeup artist and you're trying to lay out your station, so the palette does lay completely flush. When we look inside the palettes, there are 3 highlighting shades on top and then 3 contouring shades on the bottom. These highlighting shades do have a bit of a sheen, but they aren't glowy metallic highlighters like we're thinking of Becca and things like that. These are highlighting shades in the sense of highlight and contour, creating that contrast on the face. So while these are not completely flat matte powders, these highlighters, they're not glow up kind of highlighters. You get what I'm saying? These palettes don't have the shade names printed inside. They do come with the dreaded plastic sheet. I know, first world problems, it's not really that big of a deal. It's just kind of a pet peeve for me. I don't like those little plastic sheets. However, MAC does do us the favor of printing the shade names on the back, so when you inevitably lose your plastic sheet, you'll still know which shades you have in here. And also, they're printed in really huge letters on the front too. Just there's that. I don't know if these pans pop out. I tried to kind of pry a pan out, but I'm really afraid that I'm gonna break the powder. So I don't know if these are magnetic and replaceable. What I can tell you is these are not the same size as the Pro Pan refills. I have a custom face palette here that I made with some MAC powders. So you can kind of compare the pan size here. You can see that in the Studio Fix palette, the powders are smaller than the typical Pro Pans. So I did some maths for you, not my strong suit, but thankfully my iPhone has a calculator. All of the shades in both of these palettes are existing shades from MAC. You could very well go and buy the Pro Pan size of all of these. The Pro Pan refills are $17 a piece. That's just for the pan. It doesn't come in any packaging. The Pro refills are 6 grams a piece. In these palettes, you're only getting 14.4 grams total. The palettes are priced at $39.50 a piece. Keep in mind you are getting a sampling of 6 shades, plus you're getting the palette, the mirror. So when you bring all of those factors into play, it really is a good value to go for the palette if you think that you're going to be able to make use of all or most of the shades in this palette. If you feel like only 1 or 2 of these shades is really going to work for you, then it's definitely more budget friendly to just go ahead and purchase 1 or 2 of the Pro Pans, especially if you already have an empty palette that you can pop those right into. But it boils down to a pretty good value in these palettes. Let's get into the swatches now. As per usual with my swatch videos, I'll be doing both finger and brush swatches. The finger swatches will be on top and then the brush swatch will be below. For my brush swatches, I'll be using my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush and I'll clean the brush off in between each shade using my Vera Mona color switch. Here we're looking at the highlighter shades from the light medium palette. This is Emphasize, Cream, and accentuate. And as you can see with the brush, these really do just blend right into my skin tone, which is kind of what you want them to do, but they are quite soft and pigmented powders, so when you dip a finger in there, it's pretty easy to get quite a lot of product. All that to say, these are very buildable powders. Here are the contour shades from the light medium palette. First we have Taupe and Taupe's sister Sculpt. These look pretty darn similar. Taupe is a little bit cooler, Sculpt is a little bit warmer. I actually like to mix these together to get a really neutral color. And then lastly we have Bone Beige, which is in my custom palette. It's a really soft rosy color. I love this as a sort of blush, bronzer, kind of all over warm up the face color. Here are the highlight shades from the medium dark palette. We have Soft Focus, more of a golden tone. Light Sweep has a bit of a rosy tone to it, and Warm Light, which has a orangey, golden orangey undertone. These are the contour powders from the medium dark palette. First we have Shadester, definitely the warmest of the bunch, Shadowy, and Definitive. Now that you've seen both palettes swatched, I'm going to show you a quick demo of me using all 6 shades from the light medium palette, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. I already have my foundation and concealer on, so I'm using a mixture of Emphasize and cream to set my under eye concealer. Emphasize alone is a little bit too bright for me. Then I'm using cream to set the concealer on the rest of my face, so around my nose, chin, and center of my forehead. Then I'm going to start to warm up the face. I'm using Bone Beige on an angled brush, and I'm just applying that like I would with bronzer, pretty liberally all over the cheekbones. Then I'm going to take a mixture of Taupe and Sculpt, and I'm gonna put that just in the contour areas of my cheeks, and then whatever's left over I just sort of swept across my forehead. Then I'm gonna use Bone Beige a little bit more just to sort of blend all those powders together. Lastly, I'm using Accentuate, which is a rosier tone powder, to blend together the edges of Bone Beige and the brightening powder under my eyes so everything looks like a really nice smooth transition. I went for a very natural contour here, but you could definitely build these up for more drama. MAC powders have earned their reputation for a reason. These powders are very easy to work with. They're very buildable. You can go anywhere from a sheer to a really high intensity payoff, just depending on how you layer them, how much you apply. And I do think that they're fairly user-friendly, even though these are quite an artistry-driven kind of product. With that being said, I do think that this kind of product is the most useful for somebody who is a working makeup artist. However, I have to say that if this was just going to be a product for a makeup artist, then they would have put all 12 shades into one master contour palette, but because they decided to break it up into a lighter and a deeper option, that makes this incredibly user-friendly for regular consumers like us. Because they didn't do that big master contour palette, which, let's face it, would be fabulous for a makeup artist, that's just not something that would be useful or feasible for regular customers like you and I. These are nice and small, travel friendly, not too expensive, and they're not loaded up half with shades that would never match your skin tone. I love that these are just edited versions of existing well-loved shades. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. They're just bringing us a curated collection of highlighting and contouring powders that most of us have already tried. Me personally, like Bone Beige is one of my favorite powders. So I'm happy to see a lot of favorites here and not a bunch of new limited edition, you can only get it in this palette kind of products here, because this isn't hype. These are well tested, well loved for many years kind of products, and now it's just more convenient size. I'm never gonna go through a whole pro pan of anything. I know some people do. If you contour every day, or if you do a highlight contour routine every day, you may go through a whole pro pan. But for me, I like the smaller pan size. I find them being all together, I'm more likely to grab them. I love cute packaging. I think this sort of ombre text is really cute. There's a great mirror in here. I will 100% travel with this. It's been a while since I've had an all-in-one face palette, and I feel like this is really gonna be that for me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these palettes. Do you think that this is something that would be useful for you? Are any of these your holy grail face powders? Leave a comment and let us know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Can you see my coffee cup in the background? Okay, no, you can't. Just know that it's there. Different color in the Studio Fix. Whoa, custom get it together. The refill, the jump into the swatches. I'm not jumping, I'm gonna sit in this chair the whole time. A regular shut up and drink coffee. Do you know how much I love these French press lip glosses? I don't think you know, but you're gonna find out because I'm gonna continue to wear these for the rest of eternity, which in YouTube time means at least the next month. It's sad because it's true. Bye.